If you haven't known how the disciples of Jesus died, then this video is for you.
Number 12. Peter. Also known as Simon, Simon Peter, and Cephas, Peter was the leader of the 12 disciples. In what's known as the Great Fire of Rome, 2/3 of Rome burned down in 64 AD. The Emperor Nero blamed Christians and crucified Peter. He was crucified upside down because he felt unworthy of dying the same way as Jesus. Number 11. James, son of Zebedee. Also known as James the Greater, James, son of Zebedee, was one of Jesus' main disciples, and one of 2 apostles named James. James died by sword at the hands of King Herod, who most likely beheaded him. He's considered the first person to die for Jesus. Number 10. John, son of Zebedee. John, son of Zebedee, was the 3rd member of Jesus' inner circle of disciples, and the brother of James the Greater. John was exiled to the island of Patmos, where he wrote the book of Revelation. He died in 98 AD from old age, unlike many, if not all, of the other disciples. Number 9. Andrew. Andrew was a fisherman and the first disciple that Jesus called to serve him. Andrew was crucified in 60 AD in the Greek city of Patras. According to the Acts of Andrew, he was bound to an X-shaped cross, known as a St. Andrew's cross, because, like Peter, he considered himself unworthy of dying the same way that Jesus died. Number 8. Philip. There are varying accounts of Philip's death, which likely happened around 80 AD. One claims that he died from natural causes, while other records suggest that Philip was stoned, beheaded, or crucified upside down. Number 7. Bartholomew. There are a variety of claims about how he died. According to the most popular and gruesome version, he was flayed alive and then decapitated. Paintings depicting Bartholomew's death often show him cut up and wearing his skin or holding a flaying knife. Other accounts of Bartholomew's death suggest that he was beaten and crucified upside down, crucified, taken down while still alive, and then flayed and beheaded, beaten unconscious, and thrown into the sea, and that he was just beheaded. While the specifics surrounding Bartholomew's death are unclear due to the conflicting stories, it's clear that he didn't die from natural causes or from old age. However he passed from this world, it was likely horrible. Which version of this story had you heard or believed to be true? Tell me in the comments. Number 6. Matthew. Also known as Levi, Matthew was a tax collector who collected money for Rome from fellow Jews. The circumstances surrounding Matthew's death are largely a mystery. One account suggests that he died of old age, but it's more likely that he was martyred like most of his fellow disciples. There are various accounts of what may have happened to him, including stories about him being beheaded, stabbed, burned, or stoned. Number 5. Thomas. Thomas the Apostle isn't mentioned much in the Bible. Thomas was martyred on July 3rd in 72 AD. According to tradition, he was speared to death in Mylapore, India. Unlike the accounts of most of the other disciples' deaths, there are only a few stories about how Thomas died, and they're all similar. And while you're there, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Number 4. James, son of Alphaeus. In case you haven't noticed, James was a popular name during biblical times. Because of all this confusion, it's hard to say how James, son of Alphaeus, died. Jesus' brother James met a violent end when he was pushed from a temple's pinnacle, beaten with a club, and then stoned to death. One account detailing the death of James, son of Alphaeus, claims that he was crucified during a preaching mission in Egypt. Another story says that he was stoned to death in Jerusalem. Regardless of how James the Apostle died, it's probably safe to say that he was martyred. Number 3. Jude. Tradition holds that Jude the Apostle was martyred alongside Simon the Zealot in what is now the city of Beirut in 65 AD. Number 2. Simon the Zealot. Simon was martyred in the Kingdom of Iberia. A compilation of the stories of saints' lives, known as the Golden Legend, claims that Simon the Zealot was martyred in Persia in 65 AD. Ethiopian Christians have said that he was killed in a central region of Israel called Samaria. One account says that Simon was crucified in Britain in 61 AD. Another story claims that he was sawed in half, while Eastern tradition holds that he died of old age in the ancient city of Edessa. Number 1. Judas Iscariot. The most famous, or perhaps infamous, apostle was Judas Iscariot. According to the book of Matthew, Judas hanged himself. The Gospel of Luke describes how Judas used the money he received for betraying Jesus to buy a field, where he fell head first. According to the scripture, his body burst open and his intestines spilled out.